Thank you all for joining us today. Welcome to the Zumasys Customer Advisory Board. Today we're going to be having a continued discussion about AI. The title of today's presentation is called Interactive Intelligence, Engaging with Data Through AI. Again, the Customer Advisory Board is to serve as a forum for open dialogue and feedback between our customers and our product team, ensuring that our software evolves in alignment with the changing needs of our customers and the broader market. So thank you for taking a minute to join us. We started off these conversations talking about AI and really taking the feedback of the customer base to understand what they were looking for within AI. Last time we talked about building an AI-ready organization. Through the continued surveys, you came back and wanted to look at more about having a discussion with your data or the integration of AI with business intelligence. So we've got an exciting presentation for you today, and a discussion. We have Brad Leupen, we have Mike Wright, our own Mike Wright, and our own Greg Bonebrake. Brad comes to us from Entrinsik, where he is the CEO. And Entrinsik has a product called Informer. Informer, follow me down the rabbit hole, is a product that we sell as Rover BI. And so we've white labeled their Informer BI product. Informer is utilizing AI for on-demand reporting as a coding assistant and real-time troubleshooting. And so to focus on the meat of the presentation, I would like to hand it over to Brad, where he will talk us through how Entrinsik is using artificial intelligence. And Brad, if you want to go ahead and take over the screen share, I'll stop sharing.
Yeah, let me do that. Thank you very much, Corey. My name is Brad Leupen. I'm CEO here at Entrinsik. Also with me today is Madhavi Chandra. She's our Chief Product Officer. So we've been working very closely together on kind of creating an AI solution. As you know, a lot of this AI revolution is pretty new with ChatGPT and these LLM models. And so we've been hard at work over the spring and summer to build what we feel is a compelling offering on top of Informer that makes use of AI to solve different challenges that users face, not only interacting within the Informer tool, but also just gathering intel about their data. So we presented this at our own user conference and to our own customer advisory council this fall. We've been working with Zumasys on identifying requirements and helping them with their own white labeled version of it as well. So they're very much on the leading edge, and we've really enjoyed working with them. And so now we're beginning to roll this out, and we're very eager to get feedback from customers and learn from you, what your primary use cases would be with this and how you see yourselves using it. So
and Brad,
I think
Andrea was also able to join.
Oh, good. Okay, Andrea Vega's here as well from Entrinsik. So she is our VP of Informer Engineering. So we're all very eager to hear what you guys think and how you see yourselves using AI. So I think it makes sense to expand a little bit upon what Corey mentioned in his slide about sort of the three main uses that we see with AI. We challenged our developers over the summer to use the technology to come up with different ideas for how we could use it to do different things. And as we really played with it and looked at it, we found that kind of the best use cases fell along like three primary lines, which we've actually just in our own chatbot here. So the screen that you're looking at is our Informer product in its dark mode. And you can access the Informer AI up here. Now, I think most of you probably will not be using this UI. So this is the UI that Zumasys uses to build new reports and new content. But then we embed a lot of the stuff that gets built, and it shows up directly within Rover. But within our own chat, we've split it into three main sections here. The one I'll start with is help. So we put all of our help center materials into a Zendesk account that we have. So this actually is kind of specific to Informer. We're working with the Zumasys crew to do something similar with the rover docs. So I'll show you this as just a concept to get the idea across. But all of our docs are kind of tucked away inside of Zendesk. We have our users create free accounts with our Zendesk to be able to access them, but they're kind of, in another spot. They have to open their browser and go somewhere else, and they're not immediately available within the Informer product sort of when they need to access them. So we're real pumped to get AI plugged into this and allow it to use the documentation that we have to answer different questions that the user might have while using our product, and to answer them in a format and language and tone that is compatible with the user and what they're trying to do. So here's just an example here. I can actually say, what is Informer AI? So we have a Help Center article that is now up there that captures sort of the documentation of this feature. And so here it's coming back. It actually has accessed the Help Center, gotten the content, and then distilled the content to show it. So I could say, I don't really like this format. Show me the main ideas as a bulleted list. And so this is one thing that I love about this is like the documentation is almost like alive in a way. They're not just stuck with whatever format our documentation writer chose to put it in or the context that they chose to illustrate. The AI can interpret our docs and sort of rewrite them for the user on demand. Now show this in Spanish. And so this adds all kinds of capabilities. So we only write our documentation in English, but it's really handy for it to be able to serve it up in Spanish. So, I could just start asking, really specific use cases, like walk me through using Informer AI to learn about sales in my Northwind orders or in my CRM sales data set. And so it can give you like a kind of an instant recipe for accomplishing different tasks within the app. So I won't spend too much time on help other than to say that I'm really excited about being able to serve up our content that we've worked really hard on and make it more accessible to the user and ultimately more useful by being able to answer different specific questions with different examples. So that's help. The next thing that we saw the AI really helping with is what we call our UI assistants. This is like context-specific helpers that are aware of the particular screen that you're on in the application and what you might be trying to do, and give you a way to accomplish tasks within Informer through the use of natural language. So let me just hop over to one of our example data sets that we have. So just backing up, a data set is a Informer construct. It's really just an index table of data that can range from a few hundred rows to millions of rows, but it's all indexed so that we can serve up really quick analytics and aggregations and filters and searching and export. And so this is kind of the basic building block that you build different reports on top of. And so we've worked with Zumasys on creating many different data sets for Rover. So, one of the things you can do as you're editing a data set here is we allow you to create different types of calculated fields. So sometimes we need to build a field that maybe isn't represented by a specific column in the database or by an attribute of what's returned from an API. And so to kind of fill those gaps, we allow users to create what we call flow steps. So I can add a new field here and call this, make it a calculated field and call it days to ship. And so this is I don't know if many of you are familiar with JavaScript. This is a JavaScript editor it's kind of like a programming language. You can get in there and write code to calculate the value that you're looking for. This is probably the thing that we get the most support calls about, just because it's very powerful and useful, but you know, there's a learning curve there. Not everybody is a JavaScript expert. And so this is an area where we felt like we could use AI to help with this. So we can come over here and I can say, write this script for me. And the AI is aware of what the name of the script is, like what I'm trying to accomplish just by the label. And it is able to, and we give it in the background enough context about what the columns are in the data set, what the different libraries are that it has access to. And so it's able to instantly create the script. And so if I click done here, I can see that it's actually calculating days to ship. And so we look at the code that it wrote. It's using this thing called moment, not real sure what that is. Calling this thing diff. So I can say, explain to me how this works. And so it'll go through and step by step explain what the script is doing, how it works. These can get rather complicated. And so a lot of times, you'll have to go in and edit a script that maybe somebody else wrote. And so it's really useful to have it explain what they were thinking, right? I can also say, insert some comments. So maybe I want to add comments here. That's not a really great comment. Add more comments. Well, sometimes it will not listen to. Update these scripts with additional comments. Well, of course, during the live demo, it's being a little temperamental.
Always.
Let's try this. So here's another thing that is kind of good. Sometimes you'll get a bug. So you'll mess up and you'll write a thing and you get a big red exclamation mark. So you can come here, let's start over, and we'll say, fix this for me. I don't even know what the problem is. But man, it is real. So we have added also some ways to look at what it is doing. So let's see, what did it do here? Okay, well, try that again. And I won't spend too much time. There it is. Okay, so if you look, it actually fixed this for me. So, actually, the interesting thing about AI is, and I like to use this example. It's a lot less like programming a computer and a lot more like training an adolescent to do something. So a lot of times you have to tell them multiple times or tell them in different ways. There's a little bit of an art to it. And so one thing we're working at is building up the system prompts, as they call it, to kind of put the AI on rails that will help it be successful in what it's trying to do. So we've got a bunch of different examples or different places in our UI that use these context-specific helpers, not just calculated columns, but we have other types of reports that get kind of codey. And so this is a really good way to save people time and ultimately build more correct things. Anyway, so that's help in the UI helper. The last thing that we have, which I am really excited about, but it's also kind of the most wide open use case, which is really just an open dialogue with the AI and Informer together about your own data. And so you can create, for those of you who have used ChatGPT before, you can create different well, they're kind of like ChatGPT. We use the same engine as ChatGPT, which is OpenAI. And so you can create different conversations with the AI. You can configure them. in different ways. So you can give it a conversation name. You can give it some custom instructions about what you're trying to do. So here in this particular conversation, I'm saying find the CRM data set, which is like a demo sales data set with pipeline info. I give it a little bit of terminology about what we would consider a pipeline opportunity to be. So this would be the total amount where the deal is not closed and where it's in the current quarter. And then over here with modules, this is really just, you can give the AI different capabilities within Informer to be able to do different things. You might ask, why not just check all of these? It turns out that kind of the more, if you give too much information to the AI, it can get confused. So it sort of works best when you really target a specific objective and limit the context to just what's important to accomplish or to answer questions along those lines. So I've got my chat configured here, and so I can just come in and start asking questions. So this might be something that I use every month. So I can say calculate my total pipeline. And so this is going to use the cues that I've given it about, so it said, okay, I know I need to use the CRM data set here. These are the fields that I know are available. So I'm going to go ahead and calculate your total pipeline by summing opportunities that are not closed in the current quarter, and then we're going to sum this amount 25 field. And so it comes out with an answer of 5,992,000. And so then if I want like an English explanation, I can click on this button here, and then it will explain itself about what, how it arrived at that. I can say, break this down by account type. And it'll show me, the different account types that were involved in that. I can also, this is something that'll be coming to the Rover AI, but I could also say, like, show me a trend chart of total opportunities. And this will use Informer to build an inline trend chart where I can look at, exactly how my pipeline is shaping up over time. And these are actually interactive. I can click, I can view the data behind that point in time. I could also say, show a pie chart of total opportunities by product. And then here I can drill down, into different things. So I could say, look at this by state. So pretty interactive. So we're, all of these things are things that I could also do like manually with an Informer to create a dashboard, but it's kind of nice just to have a rolling conversation with it where you can get, an answer that you need right now, right away, just by typing in your question here. So let me go ahead and stop and turn this over to Mike or Greg and let them show you what this is going to end up looking like within Rover.
Thanks, Brad. That's perfect. Yeah, as Brad said, we're really excited about this partnership. The Entrinsik team has been adding a lot of value for us for a long time. Great group to work with. It's really been exciting to see what they've done with the integration within the Informer product itself. And so when we kind of set out on this path of how can we bring AI into Rover, they were top of mind for us to talk to, just to look at the opportunity to piggyback off of what's happening, right? Not totally reinvent any wheels. Similar to what's happened with Rover BI, right? The capacity Brad alluded to, a lot of you just know it as it is delivered to you through Rover. And same goes for the customer base at large. It's a really powerful engine. So it's nice to have them as a partner here in the conversation. And for us, the big thing, like many things here, it's all about trying to bring this functionality into the ERP itself, so you have it at your fingertips. So you and your users aren't having to straddle a bunch of different systems. And I think when, at least I know when I think about my own usage of AI today, right, there is a bit of a straddling systems. Depending on where I'm at, sometimes I might have more of an embedded kind of all under one hood experience with things. But other times, right, it's okay, I've got the ERP open over here, I've got Chat GPT open over there, I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, and I'm not just concentrated in one space. And so having that concentrated space for us, that's part and parcel to the ERP conversation for us. We love looking at those areas where you've got data or things that have to leave the confines of the ERP and go have something else happen to them, and then maybe re-enter the ERP later on. If we can keep you, the data and everything else centralized and just staying within the confines of the ERP, tends to make for a much more seamless and efficient experience in our perspective. So I think what we'd love to do is, instead of pushing you through some slides or anything like that, is we would like to show you where we have this integration at the moment in a dev branch. So I've got Greg along from the team who's been working heavily with Brad and the Entrinsik team on this. Greg, if we can pull up the demonstration here and maybe give people a live look at where we're at.
Hi, my name is Greg Bonebreak, a developer here at Zumasys. Today I'll be giving a quick demonstration of our AI integration within RiverWeb. We've implemented an AI assistant via a chat dialog that can be accessed through this icon in the bottom right of the site. We'll start with a quick icebreaker. Tell me a bad joke. Why don't skeletons fight each other? They don't have the guts. All right, with that, let's see if we can get it to tell us something more interesting. So as we navigate through the site, the assistant is aware of your location. So here we're in the customer section, and we have predefined prompts associated with customer information. So what customer has the highest total open balance? We'll go ahead and click on that. All right, you can see it's come back with the highest open balance is Smart Pharma Agency with a balance of about $171,000. Okay, so then we can ask it to compose collection email for this customer. All right, so here we go. It's coming up with a collection email, giving us an opportunity to review it. We could ask it to make changes, but if we're happy with that, we can tell it to go ahead and send the email. Looks like we had a network error. Yes, please try again. All right, so it says it has sent it. Let's hop over to our inbox here and we can see we've received the email. So that's just kind of a quick demonstration of how we can ask it to come up with content and then have it take action on that content, like sending emails. Pretty cool. All right, so if we drill into Smart Pharma, once again, the AI assistant is aware of our context within the site. So now it knows we're in a customer. Now it's prompting us with a specific customer question. Show me the largest open invoice for Smart Pharma. So we'll click on that. All right, and then we could ask it, what parts are on this invoice? Terrible typing. It looks like it will go ahead and deal with it. All right, so there's some detail of the part that's on that invoice. We'll hop into a different section of the site here, sales orders. How many orders have a back order status? We'll ask it that. "28 orders, okay. Then we can start asking it pretty open-ended questions like, how would I prioritize orders based on past customer sales? All right, so it's saying to prioritize the backordered orders based on past customer sales, we'll consider the total net sales for each customer who has a backorder. Here are the customers within the backordered orders and their corresponding net total sales. So it's now giving us those customer IDs and their total balances. And then based on that, it's suggesting which customer we should prioritize. So it's come up with MAR001 because it has the highest past net sales. So you can pretty quickly ask it some complicated questions and it will come up with strategies to answer those questions for you. So it's very interesting technology, and we will be continuing to add additional functionality here. For example, the prompts will be customizable to your company and to your particular users. So we'll have the context for who's logged in, and we can ask questions based upon their role within your company. So with that, that's about the end of my demo for today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Greg. The big thing here, so obviously we've got Rover BI as a prerequisite. The AI component is having a conversation with the data that's been extracted into your BI tenant. So a nice thing that you have happening is if AI kind of runs off the rails and is beating up the data in a strange way, trying to answer a question, it's not going to have any impact on your ERP. Because it's a separate resource driving the conversation there. So that's helpful from a system perspective. But the other thing is that, okay, so if that data is all sitting there and available to the AI through the BI, a big part of what Greg is showing here is that contextual awareness of where you're at within the ERP. So to Greg's point, a lot of what we're doing is focused on the types of conversations we have with the ERP right now. You know, now that we've got plumbing in place, right, everything's been wired up. We're able to have a conversation with AI using Informer. And really tease out some use cases here. It's, you know, naturally, as you might expect, as a Rover customer or a Rover user ourselves, a lot of opinion shaded by how we use the ERP. But it's why we're so interested in getting feedback from this group. Some of you are using that ERP, some of you are not. We've got a wide array of customers representing here on the call a wide array of use cases, and I'm sure a wide array of ideas that we're just really excited to have a conversation with you about, so that we can make sure we're able to prove out that it'll work, and then look at quickly delivering that functionality to you.
Perfect.
Cool.
So, I mean, with that, we want to thank the Entrinsik team for joining us today, for their partnership and the collaboration there. We want to thank you all, our customers, for joining us and during this time. We'll follow up with just a questionnaire on kind of where we go next on this choose your own adventure. And Mike and Greg, I appreciate you guys showing off what we're doing in Rover.
Yeah, thank you, everybody.